Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome. Happy Kartik to you all. And today we'll be talking about the glories of the appearance of Radha Kund. Please join us for the prayers. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Hare Krishna. So today is a very auspicious day, Bahulashtami, the appearance of Shri Radha Kund. Of course, sometimes when you say Shri Radha Kund, people also refer to as Shyama Kund and Radha Kund, twice the joy, right? And on top of that, there is in this pastime, so again, there are two incidents that we celebrate. So that as per Srila Jiva Goswami, the appearance of Radha Kund happened during the Chaitra Magh, which is March-April time frame, it appears. And then it was rediscovered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years back. So when he went on Kartik Purnima, on Sharad Purnima, when he went to Vrindavan, he stayed there for 2 months. So as he went and looking at various places where he is not different from Lord Krishna and Radharani, Antar Krishna, Bahar Radha. So he was looking at those wonderful places, the holy dhams within Vrindavan where various pastimes were being enacted. Ashtakaliya Leela. The 8, they are constantly going on. So he started asking, where is Shyam Kund, Radha Kund? And the residents at that time in Vrindavan, 500 years back, they could not respond because they were like, no, there is no Shyam Kund, Radha Kund that we are aware of. So he was looking for that. And so he went into meditation. And he had heard someone saying that there is a, Kali Khet and Gora Khet. So again, out there is some water there. So he went into meditation and he meditated on, Shyam Kund, Radha Kund, and he opened his eyes and he went to where they were and he took bath in those kundas, Shyam Kund and Radha Kund. And on top of that, from Radha Kund, he picked up, the dust, the soil, and he put on the Vaishnava Tilak. And when people asked him, he glorified that this is none other than Radha Kund, very dear to Lord Krishna, as dear as Radharani herself. So you can imagine, it is so difficult for us to see Radharani in face to face. Yet if she is not different, this Kunda is not different from her, then we can so easily see, even today, Radha Kunda. And what to talk about, we can serve Radha Kund by paying obeisances, by singing the glories of Radha Kund. And one who takes bath in Radha Kund is very lucky, because one is guaranteed. And who's the guarantor? In this case, guarantor is none other than Lord Shri Krishna himself. He is guaranteeing that one who takes bath in Radha Kund will get love of Godhead. So why are we here in this material world? Why is there so much suffering? What is the goal of life? All these questions that keep arising in our minds, we get answered through this blessing. There are so many sufferings in this material world because the nature of the world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. We keep hearing that. It is temporary, ashashvatam, and then it is filled with miseries, dukkhalayam. And on top of that, this Kali age, it is the ocean of faults. Kalera dosha nidhe rajan asti here eka mahan guna kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param rajet. So this Kali age is an ocean of faults, but it has one great quality. Asti here eka mahan guna. What is that mahan guna? Great quality. Kirtana deva krishnasya. Just by chanting the glories of Lord Shri Krishna. And of course, Radharani is not different from Lord Shri Krishna, right? You cannot separate the energy from the energetic. So Acharyas reveal that Radha is not different from Krishna because the energy cannot be separated. Shaktiman cannot be without Shakti, right? And similarly, Shakti cannot be without Shaktiman. So that is an interesting aspect we learn. So here, the appearance of Radha Kunda and Shyam Kunda was being identified by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. And as per the commentaries of Srila Jiva Goswami, he reveals that it was on this day, today, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed. That's why this day is celebrated as Bahulashtami. Now, what is the true story behind the appearance of Radha Kunda and Shyama Kunda? We understand, yes, today is the rediscovery, discovery day. Again, it was already there. But what was the reason behind the appearance? That is also very important. Many acharyas, yes, I can understand, many acharyas, in their commentaries, they say that Bahulashtami is the day that Radha Kunda and Shyama Kunda appeared. Nevertheless, we are celebrating the love. When that happened is not as important as why that happened and how that happened, right? When is a matter of time, right? And samay, right? Kal. And that doesn't exist in the spiritual world because the Ashtakaliya Leela they are constantly going on, non-stop. So Radha Krishna and the Vrindavan Vasis, they are constantly engaged in, various Leelas. And here, it just so happened that when Devashi Narada revealed to Kansa that Krishna Balaram are not different but than the seventh and eighth son of Devaki, Kansa became furious. He had killed the 6 sons of Devaki, and then he had learned that her next son, and he was thinking in his mind, the 7th one, where the 7th one, she had a miscarriage, so it would be the 8th one from that perspective, if, taken birth scenario comes. So he's looking from that perspective and he's saying, okay, so this Krishna and Balaram, they are in Vrindavan and I have to send these demons. And he was sending these demons all around, but this is where he actually came to know where they actually are, means where they are, because every time he sends a demon and those demons go around looking for Krishna, they get killed. So nobody comes back to him to tell him where Krishna actually is, right? So here, on this particular occasion, Devashi Narada, he is always eager to expedite, Lord's Leelas. So he is telling Kamsa that Krishna Balaram, they are the 7th and 8th sons of Devaki. Actually, Balaram was transferred in the womb of Rohini, and she was living in Vrindavan under the care of Nanda Maharaj, and Balaram is that son. So he sends Arishtasura. Arishtasura is, he takes the form of a bull demon, and he is so gigantic. When he enters Vrindavan, many of the cows who are pregnant and many of the ladies who are pregnant, just by hearing his hoofs, and it's said that, the clouds were around his tail when he was rushing, and he was such a giant bull, not a small bull, he was a giant bull, and he looked so ferocious. So Vrindavan Vasis, they had seen bulls, there were more than 1 crore, which is 10 million cows in Vrindavan itself. They had many bulls, but this bull was so gigantic and appeared so angry as if to annihilate the whole world, that they had miscarriages, these ladies and the pregnant cows. So the pregnant ladies, many of them had miscarriages. And so Lord Krishna, he comes in front of Arishtasura. And as soon as Arishtasura looks at Lord Krishna, what is he saying? He is saying Vasudev, death personified in front of him. Yet he charges at Lord Shri Krishna, and Lord Krishna, holding his horns, throws him away. Then he charges again, and Lord Krishna tosses him, kicks him, he dies, passing stool and urine. He gives up his life. So Lord Krishna has saved Vrindavan Vasis once again, and everyone is celebrating this, killing of a demon, and they are so much more affectionate with Lord Shri Krishna, and they are, glorifying Krishna, and they are serving Krishna, and they are, making sure that Yashodabai hears of these glories, and Nand Maharaj feeling very proud. So in the evening, at night time, Lord Krishna goes to meet Radharani. And it happens to be the same area, the foothills of, Govardhan. So near that area, so where Lord Krishna goes, Radharani says, don't touch me. Lord Krishna is like, why? What happened? What did I do? Right? Many of the times we say, I haven't done anything, so what's my fault? What did I do this time? And normally you cannot get in trouble when you say, what did I do? And if you have not done anything, except in one situation, when you have not done your homework.
then you are in trouble. But apart from that, most of the time you are safe. So here, Radharani is saying, no, you are polluted. You performed a big sin. You killed a bull. Bull is personification of dharma. So that is religious principles. Dharma. So you are impure. You are sinful. You have to purify yourself. Now it's very interesting. Acharyas explain that Lord Krishna is the purest of all. He in no condition can become impure. Rather, we in the association of Lord Krishna, we get purified, and in the association of his devotees, we get purified. So he's all purifying, but he has been called as impure by his own topmost devotee, Radharani, Aradhita. Radha comes from Aradhita. Aradhita means the topmost worshipper. So she is his topmost worshipper, and she is saying that you have become impure. And so he, being very affectionate, he wants to know. So she tells him. Now he doesn't present any counter argument. So when you don't present counter argument, it's a half yes. Yes, half could be no, but half yes is guaranteed. So he doesn't present a counter argument, and so he asks very innocently, "What do I do now? As per you, I'm impure. So how could I get purified?" He wants to know the solution, because the person who is blaming should be able to give the solution as well. Otherwise, there is a tendency in this material world. We see people just want to blame. And when you put them in their own shoes, they back off. They say, no, I don't know what to do if this happens. But, here, he's asking Radharani. And she says that you have to take bath, you have to get purified. You have to visit all the holy places and take bath in the holy waters. Lord Krishna says, that's it. He hits the ground with his heel, and suddenly a Kunda appears, and he, with his flute, he invokes all the holy places, all the holy waters in this universe, not on this planet Earth, but rather in this universe, more than 16,000 of them. So yes, we all know that in India, we call the rivers as our mothers, right? But there are some men also. Now the question arises, sometimes people ask, okay, so holy waters, we all thought that they are all personified as ladies' form. But there are these men who are just wearing dhoti and ornaments. Who are these men? So these are the oceans, the great oceans. There is an ocean of salt, there is an ocean of milk, there is an ocean of ghee, there is an ocean of sugar cane. So when Srila Prabhupada writes that in this universe there are various kinds of oceans, all these oceans are also purifying personalities. They are appearing as men. And so they are all, as soon as they appear, they start glorifying Krishna, right? They start praying, and then Lord Krishna says, please enter into this Kunda of mine. So they, taking their form of water, they enter in his Kunda. So his Kunda is filled. And Lord Krishna very gladly, you can imagine, he's teasing Radharani at this moment, right? Like, you asked me to do this, I'm going to do it. And he enters the waters and he takes nice bath and he comes out. He says, I am pure. Now, from this point onward, there are two versions that exist. One is that Lord Krishna says that now that you had, criticized, you are impure. That's one version. And the second version is Lord Krishna says, why don't you just take bath? So the second version is still common, where he is inviting the gopis to take bath in his Kund. And as we understand, Lord Krishna means as part of Ras Leela, he would play with the gopis in the waters of Yamuna. So here there is already a Kunda right at the spot. Why to walk to Yamuna? It's already here, and these are the holy waters. So now gopis, they are like, oh, Krishna, he's really, when we talk about humility, it applies to devotees. It doesn't apply to Krishna. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is Samrat. He is completely independent and he is free to do whatever he likes to do. So now the gopis are saying, oh, he did this. How can we top him up? So this is a loving exchange. It is not a competition. So we have to look from those perspectives, understanding the commentaries of the Acharyas as how they are revealing the secret. That the gopis and Radharani, they say, no, why should we take bath in your Kunda? We will make our own Kunda. So with their bracelets, they start digging the place where Arishtasura had made a mark with his hoof. So when he attacked Lord Krishna, he made a mark with his hoof. And so they start using this. And they start to bring the waters from Manasi Ganga. But yes, they were using the bracelets. They took out the bracelet and they were using it to dig the hole. But it is a lot of work, right? Hard work. So in case of Krishna, all he has to do is wish and it happens. But in case of the gopis, they have to work hard at it. And then they are bringing waters from Manasi Ganga. Even creating the chain to kind of like pass the waters back and forth. And it's taking a long time. So Lord Krishna at that time signals to one of the men who were the personified holy waters. So he signals to her that he should ask Radharani. So the holy waters, they approach Radharani, and then this representative of the holy waters, he says, my dear Radharani, I would love to serve you. Please give me an opportunity. So Radharani, in a very interesting manner, she replies back that what is it that you want? And he says, please allow me to enter into your Kunda. Please bless me and give me this service. So Radharani says, so be it. And suddenly there's a beautiful fountain that rises from Shyama Kund and the water enters Radha Kund. So this is the sweet, mood of giving. So Lord Krishna is showing his mood that he is ready to share everything that he has with us, provided we have the right attitude to serve him, to love him in that mood of humility, in that mood of tolerance. And Radharani is, the topmost worshipper. She is showing us as how to please Krishna. So sometimes it is not that we always have to agree with Krishna. Anukulne Krishna Anushilanam, yes. But sometimes Lord Krishna enjoys these kind of interactions. Some level of competition and seeing how his devotees are eager to serve. So here, as soon as Radha Kund is filled in, gopis enter, but Lord Krishna also enters with them. And he says that this Kund is most dear to me because it is non-different from Radharani. And it is said that, in Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan, during, morning to afternoon, Radharani every day takes bath in Radha Kund. And on top of that, Lord Krishna and Radharani, they perform their confidential pastimes in Radha Kund. Very auspicious. And today, Bahulashtami, people wait at midnight so that they can enter the waters of Radha Kund. Why? Because everyone is eager to attain the goal of life, right? The reason we are here. And the goal of life is to attain the love of Godhead. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his praise, Bahu Janmani Janmani Ante, let me take birth after birth, life after life, let me be born in this material world. But give me your ahetuki bhakti, right? Give me your unalloyed, unmotivated devotion service. And that is what we are worshipping. We are worshipping Lord Shri Krishna to please bless us with that unmotivated, unalloyed devotional service. And here, with this, we hear how Rupa Goswami is glorifying Radha Kund in Nectar of Instruction. Now in Nectar of Instruction, when Radha Kund is being glorified, Rupa Goswami is also telling us that we should be very cautious. So we will be covering some of those lessons. But today, there is one song that is very nicely chanted among the devotees. We sing this song. It is also called Radhika Stava. Please join me. Together we'll be singing. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhav Daite, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhav Daite, Gokul Taruni Mangala Mahite, Gokul Taruni Mangala Mahite, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite, Damodara Rati Vardhana Veshe, Hari Nishkuta Vrinda Vipineshe, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite, Vrishabhanu Dadhi Navshashi Lekhe, Lalita Sakhi Gura Ramita Vishakhe, Vrishabhanu Dadhi Navshashi Lekhe, Lalita Sakhi Gura Ramita Vishakhe, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite, Karuna Kurumai Karuna Bharite, Sanaka Sanatana Varanita Charite, Karunam Kurumai Karuna Bharite, Sanaka Sanatana Varanita Charite, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. It's a beautiful song where we're singing the glories of Radharani. So please read the translation.
O Radha, O beloved of Madhava, O you who are worshipped by all the young girls of Gokul, all glories unto you, all glories unto you. You who dress yourself in such a way as to increase Lord Damodar's love and attachment for you, O Queen of Vrindavan, which is the pleasure grove of Lord Hare. O new moon that has arisen from the ocean of King Vrishbhanu, O friend of Lalita, O you who make Vishakha loyal to you due to your wonderful qualities of friendliness, kindness and faithfulness to Kṛṣṇa. O you who are filled with compassion, O you whose divine characteristics are described by the great sages Sanat and Sanatan, O Radha, please be merciful to me.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So, Kartik is very auspicious time for spiritual development. So we are singing the glories of Kartik, which is like a month long. And then on top of that, it is complete when we take bath in Radha Kund, because Kartik is also known as Ujja Vrata, right? Urja means power. And so Ujja Vrata or Kartik Maas, Kartik Vrata, that's observed during this Kartik Maas, is for Radharani, is for to please Srimati Radharani, because she is the presiding deity of this Mass. All other months that occurred throughout the year, Lord Krishna in one form or another, he is the presiding deity. But of this month, Radharani, she is the presiding deity. Yes, it's also called Damodar Mass, where Damodar Leela happens. Yet it's referred to as Damodar Kartik Mass as completely when you call its name. And Radharani is the presiding deity. And Lord Krishna, he is glorifying. Now, which is very interesting, because sometimes people say, how could it be that she is glorified? Because in this on this particular occasion, it's not that Radha Kund has appeared. Actually, Shyam Kund appears before Radha Kund. But can Shyam be complete without Radha? No. So it is therefore glorified that her love for Krishna is so supreme that Lord Krishna has this constant mood of giving and pleasing Radharani. There is a place called Man Sarovar. Man. So when Radharani gets upset with Krishna, when she becomes angry at Krishna, she goes to Man Sarovar, where Krishna has to come and plead to Radharani to pacify her. Can you imagine? And people who are parents, we can understand. Sometimes kids, they have some, request, or sometimes they get upset. And parents, what do? Do we care about, no, this is not a valid thing? No. See, there are two perspectives. Sometimes you think with your head, and sometimes you think with your heart. Love has nothing to do with thinking with the head. It has to do with heart. And that's how relationships are maintained. Over 75 years of Harvard's research has revealed that relationships are the cause. Means good relationships lead to happiness, bad relationship leads to anxiety and misery. So it is the relationship, it is a matter of heart, that how we have this mood of giving. The relationships exist when there is no other reason but love. The mood of giving is that love. Dadati pratigrahanati guhyam akhyati prichati bhunjate bhojate cheva sadvidam priti lakshanam. So what are the 6 symptoms to increase this love? Dadati pratigrahanati, giving of gifts and accepting gifts. Guhyam akhyati prichati, inquiring about confidential matters and sharing those confidential matters. And bhunjate bhojate cheva, giving of prasadam and accepting prasadam. So nowhere do we see in this loving exchange there is a mood of taking or grabbing. No, it is accepting. Whatever comes our way, we accept, but we are always eager to give respect to others. Amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. And in this mood we can constantly sing the glories of Lord Shri Kṛṣṇa and Radharani. So here it just so happened that His Holiness Giriraj Swami, he shares some of the aspects that when Srila Prabhupada, he was in Vrindavan, reminding me of some of those incidents. So 4 days before, so this is on 10th of November 1977, Srila Prabhupada called his disciples and he said that you should all go and take bath in Radha Kund on my behalf. So 4 days before, he had this desire to take bath in Radha Kund. So he requested his disciples. So he actually wanted to have, Govardhan Parikrama, take a dip in Shyam Kund, Radha Kund. He had those desires. But sometimes when we are not able to do it, we request someone else to do it on our behalf, right? We have seen these examples. I cannot go there, but can you make this offering on my behalf? So in this mood, Srila Prabhupada had this desire, showing us the glories of Radha Kund, that how much he understood and how much he is telling us the importance of Radha Kund here. And earlier, when he was well, His Holiness Giriraj Swami, he shares this in one of his lectures, that one of the devotee of Srila Prabhupada, he said that, Srila Prabhupada, I want to live at Radha Kund. And Srila Prabhupada, he actually walked out of Vrindavan, but Vrindavan never left him, right? So he carried Vrindavan with him wherever he went, and he was preaching in the Western world and all around the globe. So he went around the globe 14 times and he was constantly preaching the glories of Radha Krishna. And so in Krishna consciousness movement, he never, looked to rest or take a, breather. He was constantly on this move because that was he was constantly being energized by Lord Shri Kṛṣṇa and Radharani. So when he heard this, his response was, well, there are a lot of monkeys at Radha Kund. And monkeys, they stay naked all day long and they eat just the fruits and vegetables, the leaves and so forth. So from the outside, it may appear that they are very austere, right? Yet at the same time, these monkeys, they have 24 or more girlfriends. So we should not try to grab that kind of mentality. From outwardly, we may appear that we are very austere, but inside we are thinking, we are constantly meditating on sense gratification, on sense objects we are constantly meditating on. So there is no need to be for another monkey to be there in that group of monkeys. Now those are very harsh, but they are very true statements. That when we are, going to Radha Kund, we should understand the mood as we are going to, because as exalted Radha Kund is, and we are not qualified to speak about Radha Kund, right? Yet at the same time, today is Bahulashtami. So today, we remember the appearance of Radha Kund, we remember the instructions of the Acharyas, so that we can learn how to be in the right mood. That's why we glorify Lord's pastimes, so that we get purified. I may be impure, you may be impure, but the message is pure, so it will purify us all. Very nice way Srila Prabhupada, when he was in the Western world, in New York, he would start many of his lectures with this. So, we are all seeking purification. And Lord Krishna reveals in Bhagavad Gita that sacrifice, charity and austerity should never be given up, because it purifies even the great souls. So we are not so great. So imagine how much more purification it will happen for us. So we should be with that mood, approaching, the glories of Radha Kund, which is, Radha Kund is non-different from Radharani herself. So Radharani is very dear to Lord Shri Krishna. And in this material universe, it is said, the Acharyas reveal that the best place is India, because that's where Lord Krishna appeared. And within India, the best place is Mathura. Why? Because Lord Krishna took birth there. He was born in Mathura. And within Mathura, the best place is Vrindavan, because Lord performed many of his pastimes in Vrindavan. And within Vrindavan, the best place is Govardhan Parvat, right? So Giri Govardhan is best within Vrindavan. And in that area of Giri Govardhan, Radha Kund and Shyam Kund are there, which are the eyes. So if you look at the shape of Govardhan Parvat, it is like a shape of a peacock. It's a peacock shape. So they are like the eyes of this peacock of Govardhan Parvat. And of them, of the two, Shyam Kund and Radha Kund is more dear to Lord Shri Krishna. And so Acharyas reveal this, that if we seek spiritual advancement, then we should take shelter. We should serve Radha Kund. We should take bath in Radha Kund, because one who takes bath is guaranteed the love of Godhead. So that's the topmost blessing. Imagine this, right? Kohinoor doesn't come close to the glorification just of taking bath in Radha Kund, because it's a material thing, Kohinoor, while Radha Kund is spiritual, all transcendental. So we have to approach. Yet at the same time, when we are approaching the topmost, the most dear, someone or something that's most dear to Lord Shri Krishna, we have to be very careful not to commit offenses. So when we approach Radha Kund, of course, there is Gopeshwar, Lord Shiva protecting the Rasa dance. So we have to pay obeisances to Gopeshwar, at the temple. Then as we approach forward, we pay obeisances to Shyam Kund, we pay obeisances to Radha Kund. And as paying obeisances and singing the glories of Radha Kund, we sprinkle little water on our head before we enter the waters, asking for permission. And then again and again paying obeisances constantly. Sometimes devotees, we also take parikrama, which is also glorifying that, please prepare me with the right consciousness, so that I can enter the waters and receive the blessings. So we are in the mood of receiving. And then when we enter the waters, and I have, when I enter the waters, I've never, felt so soothing. It's like Amrit, it's like nectar. And it's the sweetest water on planet Earth. It's so purifying. And you feel that when you enter, even in the time of winter season, when you enter, suddenly, there is urja, there is energy in that water, there is transcendental energy, there is transcendental recharging in that water. So when we enter, we get the blessings. We, in that mood of accepting, in that mood of humility, in that mood of, agreeing that we understand the glories, as Acharyas have explained. And sometimes it's just simply following the words of Acharyas purify us. So there are two levels of purification, right? One is that you purify based on your own austerity, sacrifice and charity, and sometimes you just follow someone who is pure. And Srila Prabhupada is all pure for us. So we follow his instructions, understanding how to serve Radharani, how to serve Lord Shri Krishna, how to serve the devotees, and how to serve Radha Kund, and how to win the right consciousness, and especially today glorifying Radha Kund. So this is where, during the month of Kartik, so many amazing, pastimes are being glorified again and again. And here, today, we are glorifying, we are remembering the appearance day of Radha Kund and Shyam Kund. So this is where we would end. Nasiba Devati. Hare Krishna. Please join us for Nasiba Devati. Shri Shri Radha Kund ki jai, Shri Shri Shyam Kund ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna ki jai, Shri Shri Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnav ki jai, Nitai Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
श्री नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। निताय गौ प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna.